It's recap time. 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Shower Podcast, the podcast where I'm in my shower and you do you. I'm your host, Chip, and this is not my usual intro. This is a bit of a special episode. Unfortunately, I will be away for a few days, and I found out this interesting way of filling the gaps with recaps from previous episodes. If this is your first time here, use it as an opportunity to find topics that you might be interested in and go back to listen to the original ones. If you are a usual listener of the Shower Podcast, well, again, this might be a rehearsal of topics that you might be interested in. Otherwise, I understand if you want to wait for me to be back. But in the meanwhile, the podcast needs to continue and we need to reach day 365. Having said that, I will not keep you longer. Thank you very much for listening. As always, a like and a subscribe. They are always welcome. And now, recap time.
All right. Welcome, everyone. We're doing something a little different today, a bit of a special deep dive.
That's right. We're looking at a series from one of our own, actually.
Exactly. Our friend Chip, you know him from the Shower Podcast, he put out 5 really fascinating little explorations recently.
Yeah, they were quite insightful.
And we thought, if you missed them over on his feed, maybe we could give you the highlights reel right here.
Like a shortcut to catch up on Chip's latest thoughts. Consider it your express pass.
Perfect. So let's dive in. First up was his episode 41, the Clickbait experiment.
Ah, yes, that one. He kicked it off sounding a bit awkward, didn't he?
He did. He basically apologized straight away for the title, admitting he deliberately made it a bit, clickbaity.
Trying to see if it worked, I think. The context was that whole Italian media frenzy, right?
Exactly. There was this big celebrity couple drama unfolding, and also that influencer who apparently caused, tourist chaos somewhere.
Right. And Chip wanted to see if a clickbait title could cut through that noise. Which, raises some interesting points.
It really does. He was wrestling with the whole ethics of it. He saw it could work to get attention.
But he wasn't comfortable with it himself. That tension is key, isn't it? Between reach and, integrity.
Totally. Does using those tactics ultimately help or hurt your relationship with your audience? It's a big question for creators.
It really is. And it wasn't just the clickbait technique itself he was thinking about.
No, he pivoted from there to look at the Italian media landscape more broadly.
Yeah, why were those social media scandals getting so much airtime compared to, say, other national issues?
That was his point. It led him to this key insight, this sort of reflection.
That what a country's media focuses on.
Yeah.
It tells you something about the country itself.
Precisely, like holding up a mirror. What captures the collective attention? What does that say about priorities, maybe even values?
It's a sharp observation. Makes you reflect on your own media diet, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What news do you click on?
Definitely something to think about. Okay, so moving on from media ethics to something, much more personal. Episode 42.
Ah, the unproductive day.
And the Kinder Delice.
Yes. The Kinder Delice revelation, as he called it. This was just pure, honest Chip talking about having one of those days.
We've all been there, where you just can't get anything done.
Absolutely. And his willingness to just lay that out, the struggle, the frustration, it's super relatable.
One of the big takeaways was just that acceptance, right? It's okay to have those days. Don't beat yourself up.
Yeah. And he also talked about this interesting side effect of his flexible schedule. He'd been consistent for a while.
And then the flexibility almost became a way to, self-sabotage. A bit counterintuitive.
It is. That tricky line between freedom and, falling off the wagon completely, finding that balance.
We all struggle with that, I think, especially if you work for yourself.
But the story, the real highlight of this one, was the Kinder Delice incident.
Oh, yeah. He just went for it. Ate the whole box. The whole box. On this super unproductive day. And the funny thing was...
Afterward, he completely lost the craving for them.
Exactly. By just giving in, fully indulging, the desire just vanished.
And he drew this brilliant parallel to the unproductive day itself. Maybe sometimes you just need to lean into it.
Let yourself be unproductive to kind of reset the system, like scratching an itch until it stops itching.
It's an interesting self-regulation tactic. Maybe fighting it is actually more tiring than just accepting it for a bit.
Could be. A bit of self-compassion through chocolate, perhaps. Anyway, next up, episode 43 took us back to Italy.
Right. I hate Sanremo. With the implied... But actually...
Exactly. Because despite the title, his take on the Sanremo Music Festival was pretty complex.
It's such a huge cultural event there, isn't it? divides people but also brings them together.
That was a key insight he explored, this paradox. It causes massive arguments, everyone has an opinion, families debate it.
But it's also this shared national experience, something everyone is talking about, even if they're arguing. A bonding ritual, almost.
Yeah. But he also touched on the flip side, feeling excluded if you're just not into it.
When something dominates the culture so much, it can feel isolating if it doesn't resonate with you.
Definitely. And interestingly, he linked it back to episode 41. Remember the media scandal?
Oh, right. He mentioned a singer involved in Sanremo who was also caught up in some of that celebrity gossip stuff.
Yeah. And how Sanremo itself often spawns these little, mini political controversies during the live shows.
So it's more than just songs. It's a whole ecosystem of media, gossip, politics, culture, all wrapped up in one festival.
Pretty much encapsulates a lot of modern Italian culture in 1 week, it seems. Okay, episode 44 shifted gears again. More introspective.
This was the burden of obligation versus the joy of unexpected achievements. Really thoughtful stuff here.
Very. He reflected on how his upbringing, being an only child without intense parental pressure,
Actually made it harder for him to feel genuine pride in certain achievements.
yeah, because he saw them as things he should do. Obligations, basically. Like getting good grades.
Ah, the psychology of motivation. If it feels like a duty, the joy kind of evaporates.
That's what he was getting at. She had this great line. I didn't see it as an achievement because in my head, it was more my obligation to achieve it.
Wow, that really hits home. So things like promotions, good marks, they didn't land the same way.
Not like, say, nailing an unexpected ace in tennis, or even, he admitted, the feeling he got from consistently putting out his podcast.
That contrast is fascinating. The unexpected win, the thing you weren't obliged to do, feels more earned, more personally significant.
It seems so. That joy came from overcoming a challenge he set, or mastering something surprising, not just meeting an external expectation.
It really underlines the power of intrinsic motivation, doesn't it? Doing something for the love of it or the challenge versus just ticking a box.
Makes you think about what really brings you satisfaction, doesn't it? Is it hitting the targets someone else set, or something else?
Definitely food for thought.
Wow.
Which leads us nicely into the final episode in this run, number 45.
Yes, Valentine's Day reflections, living for versus dying for. And even though Valentine's Day is past, the core idea here is evergreen.
He started off, as many do, critiquing the commercialism of it all.
Right, the pressure, the idea that love should be shown consistently, not just on one designated expensive day. Pretty standard critique there.
But then he went somewhere much deeper, questioning that classic romantic phrase.
I die for you. He found it lacking, maybe even problematic.
Yeah, he proposed shifting the focus. Instead of I die for you, asking, would you live for me?
That is such a powerful reframe. It just stops you for a second.
It really does. Because
Yeah.
dying for someone is this sort of passive grand gesture, maybe even an easy way out, he suggested.
Compared to the alternative, living for someone implies active effort, right?
Exactly. It implies, working on yourself, going to therapy if needed, dealing with your faults, communicating through problems.
It's all the hard, ongoing, sometimes unglamorous work that actually builds a relationship, day in, day out.
That's the core insight, that living for someone is a much more profound, more meaningful commitment than the dramatic dying for them. It's about sustainable effort, not a single sacrifice.
It's about showing up consistently. He even shared that adopting this kind of philosophy has really helped him personally in his own relationships.
It speaks to a maturity in viewing relationships, I think, built on mutual growth and navigating life together.
So there we have it, a whirlwind tour through 5 episodes of Chip's Shower podcast, from clickbait ethics to Kinder Delice, Sanremo, achievement, and the meaning of love.
Quite a range. Hopefully that gives you a good flavor of what he was exploring.
Yeah, we hope it sparks some thoughts, maybe an aha moment or two for you listening.
And if any of these themes really resonated, we absolutely encourage you to go check out the original Shower podcast episodes. You get the full context, all the nuance.
Definitely worth it. It's always great hearing different perspectives unpack these kinds of ideas.
Absolutely.
Well, that's all the time we have for this particular deep dive. Thanks as always for joining us.
We really appreciate you tuning in. See you next time.